So I'm joined by Spike Curtis from Tigera and Shannon, is it Cohen? Cohen from Pivotal. So would you like to introduce yourselves?
Spike, you go first.
Sure. So I'm Spike Curtis. I am a software developer with Tigera. We produce, among other things, Project Calico, which is networking for Kubernetes and OpenStack and other kinds of large clusters. And I am one of the co-leads of the Istio security working group.
And my name is Shannon Cohen. I'm a product manager at Pivotal. I've been working on the Cloud Foundry project for 6 years. I'm currently responsible for routing and load balancing in Cloud Foundry. Previously responsible for the what is now known as the Open Service Broker API. And Cloud Foundry, for those who aren't aware, is a highly scalable, multi-tenant, cloud-native platform for deployment and management of cloud-native applications.
Well, thank you so much for joining me, both of you. This is great.
Yeah.
Spike, I know we're really running. I know you wanted to show us something about how the security team has implemented Lua.
Yeah, so it's not actually the security team.
Okay.
So I do work on security mostly, but what I want to show is actually pretty applicable to lots of different kinds of use cases. So do you want me to dive in, or you want to?
Yeah, well,
please do.
You can just share it. We can see what you see, and then we'll just try to keep this on a real tight schedule. So I apologize in advance to both of you. This is great.
Yeah, no, that's fine. So this is custom filters. We, Tigera, wanted to get this in so that we would have an extension point to integrate our technology more directly at a low level with Istio. But this stuff, now that we have it in 1.0, it can be used for all kinds of really interesting stuff. So just a quick kind of recap for anybody that may not have the internals of Envoy kind of readily at your fingertips. What goes on in Envoy is you have some listener that's listening on an IP and a port, and then the data that comes in through that listener gets sent through a bunch of filters, and there are network filters. So like, for example, you could have a rate limit filter, and then if it is an HTTP connection, then it goes into the HTTP connection manager filter, and then that guy can have its own set of HTTP filters that are optimized for dealing with HTTP requests and responses. So in Istio, we have this whole stream of filters that we configure by default, and what you might want to do is insert your own custom processing into what Envoy is doing to your traffic as it goes in and out of your service. So in Envoy, you would add another filter. So for example, there is a Lua filter, which allows you to process requests using the Lua scripting language, so you don't have to recompile Envoy or anything like that, and insert that into the HTTP filter chain. So just to kind of do a quick dive on the Lua filter, because this is, I think, really powerful for people to start working with the Istio mesh and processing traffic in interesting ways without having to recompile anything, without having to add code to Envoy itself. What the Lua filter looks for is these two functions in your script, Envoy on request and Envoy on response. You can have either or both of these, and Envoy on request gets processed when an HTTP request comes in. Envoy on response gets processed when the response is coming back from your service. And so, for example, you can do things like add and remove headers. You can get information about the body. You can inspect what the body of the HTTP request is. So this gives you a really powerful way to interact with traffic as it's moving through your service. So what we added is the ability in Istio to specify custom filters, Lua filter being one example. So if you look at the Istio docs and go to the traffic routing area, you'll find this Envoy filter definition. And what this allows you to do is tell Istio what custom filters you want it to insert in what kinds of listeners. And you can choose both gateway and sidecar listeners for your services. So for example, if I've got some application running and it is returning some headers that I don't necessarily want to be returned by my service. So let's see, I'm going to grab the Istio ingress gateway address. And do a quick request to that. You'll see I get some response back, but if I look at the headers of that, maybe I don't want my my end users, my customers, to know that I am using Envoy, or maybe there's some sort of timing attack on some password login that I don't want to reveal the upstream service time or something like that. What I can do is add a Lua filter inline just by adding one of these guys to the Istio configuration. So in this case, I'm saying I want to insert a filter in the first position of HTTP. I want it to work on all gateway listeners. It's an HTTP filter, and it should be Lua, and then I can just put my code in line. So in this case, I'm invoking the Envoy on response, and I want to strip out that header. So I'll apply that filter. And now if I repeat that request, oops.
Well.
There we go.
Sweet.
We get responses coming back with that header stripped up.
That's dope.
Yeah.
That's fully integrated. It's the dream, Spike.
Yep.
We've got some, anyways. So is your code on GitHub somewhere? Can you drop that in the Twitch chat or something, or put it in the Docker chat?
Sure. I mean, literally, it's just
I guess it's all in it's all in core now at this point.
In the definitions, if you want to know what stuff you can actually do in Lua, check out the Envoy docs.
Okay.
That gives a good overview of what you can actually write in Lua. And you can even import Lua scripts from file by loading it from your handlers and things like that. So
nice, yeah.
Pretty cool, very powerful. And you get the full range of all the built-in Envoy filters as well. So it's not just limited to Lua. You can configure any filter you want.
That's dope.
Very
okay.
Awesome.
Do you have any questions?
No, it's super cool.
All right. Well, Shannon, let's talk about what you brought.
I just plugged this cable in.
Well,
is it gonna work?
Is it gonna work? I don't know. We look to production. We pray for production around here.
What cable?
It's the Elgato cable.
Okay, you pulled it from the Elgato? Okay, I will get you up there in just a second.
But you can provide some flavor text
Sure,
while he
bet.
figures it out.
So what Cloud Foundry's involvement with Istio has been over the last 9 months or so is Cloud Foundry, having been around for many years and being a mature platform,
Definitely something we use all the time at IBM.
has the primary motivation of minimizing time to market for development teams and removing all toil that is possible to remove for app developers. So the user experience for an app developer in Cloud Foundry is quite a bit abstracted from complicated walls of YAML and a more metaphorical and streamlined deployment and configuration model. So we have a command, cf push, that takes your source, uploads your source, and builds the container, compiles the container for you, and runs it on as many instances as you like. For routing, another simple command will associate the URL of your choice with your application, and a dynamic edge routing tier will keep track of where those containers are on the container orchestrator and forward requests for where they are. So what we've been doing is replacing or bringing up in parallel with the intention to replace our routing subsystem with Istio and Envoy. Mm-hmm. And initially that's in the context of, I see I've got, initially that's in the context of a platform ingress, platform multi-tenant ingress. But we've already got sidecar envoys in place in every container. Initially, they're used only for platform ingress. and we've got a gateway Envoy wired up as the platform ingress also. So what I can show you here is this simple app deployment model, and how simple it is to get internet access to your application without walls of YAML.
Senior YAML engineer.
Using Istio and Envoy. Now, initially, we're only using Pilot. We don't yet have a need for all the other components in Istio.
Sure.
We already have in Cloud Foundry support for logging and metrics and telemetry and authorization and certificate management, and all of that's already done. But over time, we expect that other teams that are responsible for those functions in Cloud Foundry to be exploring how they could leverage other components of Istio for that purpose.
That's one of the consequences of this, where we are right now in terms of tool bonanza, right? It's like, just take the classic case of like Kubernetes, Istio, and Envoy, right? Like, basically all three of those have brought their own service discovery system for you to use. And it's like, cool, all right, which layer is the right one to do it at? I don't know. So you try to like weld things in, and some of it you need and some of it you don't.
So let's see, I can get onto the two routers here. Let's see if we have any issues with network.
Oh, do I need to get you on the Wi-Fi?
Oh yes, I would need Wi-Fi. Never. Screw that.
Yeah, I don't know that
no demo without Wi-Fi.
No Wi-Fi, no problem. But broadly speaking,
some comments from the peanut gallery that they can't read your text.
Yes, I closed my laptop because I don't have Wi-Fi.
But that's, something we'll fix the next time we do this. But broadly speaking, there's a network layer that has all these pods, or all these containers that are deployed by Cloud Foundry talking to each other, and you're going to implement a similar, Envoy sidecar, talking to Envoy sidecar with Pilot doing all the controlling.
So Pilot's already in Cloud Foundry is dynamically configuring the edge gateway Envoy, and the sidecar envoys are handling ingress from the gateway only currently, but the next on the list of things to do is dynamically configuring those sidecars with the Pilot also, and the networking to send egress traffic from the containers through those sidecars. And then we get all the east-west magic that Istio gives us, that Pilot is currently giving us for north-south.
So is that things like route rules and stuff like that?
Oh yeah. The way I think of this is that the developer of the application wants to control how their service is consumed, and it doesn't matter whether those consumers are coming externally or internally on the platform or from outside the platform.
Cool.
So they express some intent for how their service should be consumed, and the platform takes care of configuring whether it's sidecars or edge gateways.
Awesome. Well, thanks both of you for coming on the show. I apologize that we're under compressed time and we didn't get the Wi-Fi set up, but I think both of these things are very interesting to the viewers. I encourage you to take some links you had and drop them in that chat, or drop them to me and I'll drop them in the chat, because I think there's like a moderated no link spam in the chat. But we'll tell the chat about what happened, and I'll try to get you both on the next time we do this with a little bit longer sessions. And thank you so much.
Thanks for sharing, Spike.
Yeah, no problem.
We're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, I think we'll have Matt Klein, or we'll just hook Shannon up to the Wi-Fi and show his demo. So stay with us. Thanks, everybody.